Well, here we are again on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada, and we are in the kitchen making ketchup. Ever made your own ketchup? I have never made my own ketchup. So I've been making some tomato sauce lately, and I have not had a lot of luck with my jars sealing. About half and half have sealed and not sealed, which has been quite a disappointment. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I'll have to, I don't know, be more careful next time. But anyway, so I've got about 10 cups of tomato sauce that I've made that I'm now going to turn into ketchup. So thanks for coming along for the ride, and thanks for being here. And if you have any tips on how to make ketchup, I would love to hear them, because we'll see how this tastes. Some of the ingredients, I looked at several recipes and they all follow basically the same method. You put your sugar and your cider vinegar in there, and then you add spices. And so I'll show you the spices that I'm going to use in just a minute here. But first I wanted to say thanks so much for being here. You are never too old to learn new things, and one of the things that I have always cherished is learning new things. And so I'm just going to keep sharing that journey with you, and I'm so glad that you've come along for the ride. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you should subscribe. It's super simple, it's free, it's will bring joy to your world. Anyway, let's make some ketchup. Now here's my pot of, this is just my tomato sauce. And now my tomato sauce already does have, I've put onion and garlic into it, and some peppers into it. I do that all the time with my tomato sauce when I can it, because those are the things that I always put into tomatoes when I use them. So to that, I've just got this on the stove, and it's just gonna come up to a bubble, and I'm going to add my spices to it. So what I'm using into my 10 cups of tomato, or almost 10 cups of tomato sauce, I added 1.5 cups of cider vinegar and 1 cup of brown sugar. And now, first I'm going to throw in a not too fat cinnamon clove, which seems kind of weird to me, but like I said, the ingredients don't seem to be something that I would have thought they would be. But so I'm going to put in a tablespoon of celery seed, and this is just a piece of cheesecloth. I'm going to put in, my goodness, so I got some whole allspice here, and I'm just going to put, oh, what does it say over there? Okay. I'm just going to put, I don't know, I'm going to put 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe 5 in there. And then I've got some red pepper flakes, and I had a bay leaf in there. I'm just going to throw a few of those in. And I think that's everything. After about an hour and a half, I took out my spice packets and my cinnamon, because I felt that it was spicy enough for me, and I liked the flavor, so I left it there. And you can see over here, if you look, it was like right up over top of these little doohickeys here. So it has cooked down quite a bit, but it is definitely not thick enough yet. So I'm going to leave it here. It's going to continue steaming away and evaporating some of that water and intensifying in flavor, and then we're going to can it. Here's a bit of warning from me to you. As it starts to thicken up, the bubbles will start getting bigger and they will start spitting more. So, unless you want a disaster on your hand, speaking from experience, check out my video where my kitchen exploded. I'll put a link if I remember. But yeah, I recommend one of these little suckers that you can put on top of your pot to kind of keep it. It allows it to still steam, but it keeps it from exploding all over your kitchen. So I also turned it down just a touch. I do want to keep it just lightly bubbling. After draining overnight, it's a little thick, a little thicker than I would want. However, I do have all of this lovely drained juice under here. So I'm going to take all of this and put it into a smaller bowl, then add the liquid back a little bit at a time until I get to the exact consistency that I want for my ketchup. Yeah, so I'm just going to fill my jars with my nice thick ketchup. And I'm going to leave about 1/2 inch of headspace. I only ended up with 3 half pints, but that will be enough. I left about 3/4 inch to 1 inch of headspace. I wanted to leave a generous 1/2 inch. Because I have a feeling it's thick enough that it's gonna kind of need that extra headspace. And now I'm just gonna put these on, finger tight. Till they meet resistance, and then finger tight. One of the things that I really love about the Nesco canner is that it lets me do small batch canning, and I can do 3 jars and not feel bad about it. I would not want to pull out my great big canner and put it on the stove and bring all that water to boil just for 3 little cans. But doing it in my Nesco, it's quick, it's easy, and it's quick, it's easy, and I'm going to be done in a flash. All right, I've got my jars in the canner, and I've got them covered by 2 inches of water. I'm going to close that so it's sealed, and here on the Nesco to water bath can, you hit water bath, and then my time, all the recipes I found, set the time for 15 minutes, and I am going to hit start. Now I'm going to wait. This is going to spiral around while it comes up to heat and starts to boil, which, because this is a cold bath, I'm starting with cold water and cold product, is going to take probably about 20 minutes or longer. But yeah, so I'll actually time it, and we'll see how long it takes to bring it up from cold up to temperature. And then, as you can see up here on the top, I have this set to exhaust. I want to make sure that my steam is able to exhaust while I'm doing the water bath can. And so there you have that. Hear that steady stream of steam? Now it's time to come to your Nesco and push your start-stop button again and let it start timing down. And you can hear it bubbling in there. And you just have to watch. Sometimes your little doohickey here, your weight, will kind of bump out of place and will seal. So you've got to be careful that you keep an eye on that as well. Here's something that really annoys me about this Nesco. See how much it's spitting and spraying and how wet my the top of my thing gets all wet. Ouch. And so I usually put a towel around it like that. It holds it in place and keeps the water from dripping all over the place. Spit and sputter like that when I'm doing the quarter pints or if I'm doing the wide top half pints. But it's when you have to fill the water level up to full, it spits. Super annoying, but it spits. To 0, turns to off, beeps 3 times, and now I can actually reach over and unplug it. And I'm going to wait till it stops sputtering and spitting all over the place, and I'll go ahead and open it and take those jars out. We're all out of the canner now, and I did go ahead and fill a couple of jars up with some of my pepper syrup that was left over and canned that up so it would keep longer without just being in the fridge. So now we just got to keep our fingers crossed that everything pops. Well, darn it, I lost some footage again, but it was just of the boiling down of the ketchup till it got really thick. And then I put it into a strainer and let it sit overnight, and it strained out, and you saw the thick glob of stuff. And then I added the liquid back in until it was the perfect texture. And then I canned it in the Nesco, and all of my jars sealed, so I am super happy. And now I have some ketchup. I mean, not that I can't, you can buy ketchup anytime, but now it's in the perfect size because those little half pints hold about a cup. And most of the recipes I have for making barbecue sauce take a cup of ketchup. So that's what that will become eventually is barbecue sauce or some other kind of sauce. But anyway, that's how easy it is to make ketchup. You can use whatever spices you want, I imagine. You don't have to use the ones that I used. That was just, I looked at several recipes and those were kind of a spice. The spices that I used were ones that were in all of the different recipes that I tried. So that's why I went ahead and tried that. Oh, Dave's in the other room. No, no, you go ahead, honey. He's so considerate. He wants to make sure that he's not interrupting me, but I know that you guys can't even probably hear him. Just me being distracted is the only notification that you'll get that he's here. Anyway, that's going to be it for me for today. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me in the kitchen. You know that I appreciate you, and I'm really glad to see you. Take good care of yourself. I will see you soon. Bye now.